Black Estate, Our Interest, Our Voice podcast, where you can hear real conversations on real topics about real issues affecting our community, get real views and real advice from real professionals about real estate and business. Hello everyone, my name is Tanisha Williams. I am founder and CEO of the Black Estate magazine, which is a publication that highlights Black real estate, Black and POC real estate, and business development. And today we're here with Mr. Theotis Cason of Casons Fine Meats, located on the corner of Alberta and MLK. We're talking with Mr. Cason today because he's somebody in the community that I admire. He's been a staple in our community for over 35 years and has just so much knowledge on the history of Portland, being a business owner in Portland, and can really give us maybe just some good insight. And I really just want to know a little bit more about him, and I want you guys to know more about him. So we're going to get into it. I'm also here with Letitia Jensen, which is my new journalist with the Black Estate Mag. So she is going to also be chiming in today on this podcast. So, Mr. Cason, I wanted to start off with saying thank you so much for letting me come in today to speak with you and for taking the time out. I know you're a busy man and you run a busy business.
Well, I want to say thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be a part of Deferred podcast.
Thank you.
And here at Casons Fine Meat, and like you said, we're located on the corner of Martin Luther King and Alberta at 5051 Northeast Alberta and Martin Luther King here in Portland, Oregon, our fine city, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. So I wanted to just to start off with, where are you originally from? Where's your family originally from, and what brought you guys here to Portland, Oregon?
Well, originally my mom is from Morton, Mississippi. My dad is from Crossett, Arkansas. So they got together and way back in the day, and they made their way out to Phoenix, Arizona, and then they had the shipyards open here in Portland, Oregon, and they winded up here in Portland, Oregon, and I'm number 9 of 10 kids, and I was born here in 1955 at Good Sam's Hospital in Northwest Portland. Like I said, we're just glad to be here, and I'm glad to be a part of what I do represent Casons, the Cason family as a whole, and we come from great stock.
You're repping well.
And there's great stock in the future to come.
Definitely.
And we're looking for great things from our family, from this generation here and wants to come.
And how many generations of your family is here in Portland?
There's at least 4 generations here in Portland, Oregon right now.
Nice.
You know, and my oldest brother, he just passed away. He was a serviceman.
Sorry to hear that.
And when I opened up this location, I think the 3rd day I opened up, he was a Vietnam vet, and I really miss him dearly. And we used to have breakfast every morning at the Overlook, and we'd sit down and talk about business in the community and buying property and buying houses. And we had some indifferences. He said, well, bro, you know, to be successful, you're going to have to move your business. And I told him, no, bro, you got to take another look at this thing, because everything is coming our way. And we were centrally located in the community with our houses and with our business. And now here we are in the regentified zone, because people are coming this way, and they're finding out things that we've known from the past. You can get over in Vancouver in 5 minutes. You can get to Beaverton in 15 minutes. You can get out in the East County in 10, 15 minutes. But now it's getting overpopulated, and it's going to take maybe half an hour, 45 minutes now. Right, because the highways are smaller. Mm-hmm. There's more people on the highways in the community.
So let me ask you, first of all, when did you get your start in butchering? Who taught you how to butcher? Is it something that was something that your family passed down, or?
Well, really, there was a mom and pop store, Neighborhood Bills, located on Williams Avenue at Tillamook Street. And I used to frequent there every day, and William T. Benton Sr., he was a proprietor. His son, it was a family business. William Benton Jr., he was the son, the number one son. And the bottle machine, the little candy machine broke. And so he asked my brother, did we want to clean it up? And we cleaned it up, and then I got a job there as a kid, as 8 years old.
Is this a black-owned business?
A black-owned business, right there on Williams Avenue, and it was a place to go. It was really the place to go on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday morning to get that good homemade ground sausage. Mm-hmm. That sausage was so good. You'd fry that sausage and you could smell it a mile away with the good sage it had in it. And so I started butchering there. There was a young man there, Eugene Mitchell. He was one of the butchers there. He recently passed away. We miss him dearly. And he taught me a lot of stuff. And I used to deliver sausage for him. They had a sausage kitchen also. And they made these sausages and put them in Fred Meyer's, Safeway, Albertson stores. And that's where I started at. And that was probably in the 60s. And I couldn't see over the counter. Had a little milk crate I stand on. And I started back then, and I worked my way up to apprentice. They had an apprentice program open up. When I started apprentice for Safeway. And I spent 5 years with Safeway as an apprentice meat cutter. And I worked my way from Safeway to Fred Meyer's. I worked for Fred Meyer's for 15 years. I worked every Fred Meyer store in this city of Portland and Vancouver for 15 years.
So when did you decide that you were done working for the stores and that you were going to start your own meat market?
Well, I decided after I seen all the revenue that I was working for peanuts for myself and making the big chain a lot of money. So I said, well, I'm making peanuts and I'm going to the bank with a sand can and they're going to the bank with a wheelbarrow. So I said, well, it's time to branch out. So I figured it out, and 1974, 75, I opened up Casons Fine Meat, and the rest is history. And we're here at this location right now.
Awesome.
Were there a lot of black-owned businesses back then? How did it compare back then to today?
Wow, there were black-owned businesses up and down Williams Avenue on both sides of Williams Avenue, Russell Street. They had markets down under the hill where Emmanuel Hospital came in and bought all that property. There were black cleaners. There were black barbecue places everywhere, all kind of beauty salons and restaurants all over North and Northeast Portland. And they slowly went away. And it's a thing of the past.
And what was the black community like then? Were they supportive of each other's business? I know it was, I remember growing up and it being a black neighborhood when I grew up. I didn't even really know that Portland was 99% white until I moved to another city, because when I grew up there were black stores that we went to a black church. At the school that I went to, Harriet Tubman was predominantly black. We had black principals and black teachers. So, seeing now what, Portland is like, my daughter does not have that opportunity. She doesn't know what it feels like to grow up in a black city. So what was what was it like back then for you, and how did the businesses support each other?
There were a lot of black businesses, like you said, and they were tight knit. And Mr. Dean and his wife, they had a beauty salon and a barbershop. They were one of them, and Mr. Dean, he was, I think he's the oldest black business in the state of Oregon, in Portland, that I know that it is still in existence. One of the nieces is running it to this day.
And what is it called?
Dean's Beauty and Barber Salon.
Okay.
And they're on Northeast Hancock Street, where I grew up at as a little boy. And you had neighborhood bills. You had Mr. Joe Powell. You had the Broaduses, who had a gas station on Northeast Broadway at First Avenue. You had Mount Olive Church there, which is still the oldest church there, and then they have a new church now in North Portland. So,
It's a good amount of it.
so we grew up, and the business supported one another. We had a black bank back in the day. It was on Martin Luther King, right off of Knott Street, and that was the only black bank that we had.
Tell us about that black bank. And I'm wondering why we don't have something like that now, all these years later. So what happened to the black bank, and who owned it?
Well, Mr. Booker, he owned the black bank, and he was one of the only black bankers around, and we supported it, but we didn't have enough support, I think, because we were not thinking about the future. Who is going to take over, and where does it come from? Where is it coming from? And we need more young people that we have to mentor in these businesses to get them on the right track so they can step in as the older people get older and get sick and want to retire and want to do something different before they pass away. So we've got to change our generations. We've got to teach one and bring them up so we can go on and we can keep the community strong.
Exactly, so we can have these establishments that we had back then. Have you noticed the black business decline since you've been in business, and I mean from where you started to where you are now?
We have really declined in the community. The community really no longer exists with black businesses. There used to be 30, 40, 50 businesses just in the little community. You had everything there. 2 or 3 cleaners, you had gas stations, you had mom and pop grocery stores, you had one or two meat markets or grocery stores with a meat market.
Now, were there ever any black-owned farms here in Oregon that you were able to do business with? And let's talk about that. How was that? How do you think that would have affected your business had we had black-owned farms?
Oh, if we would have had black-owned farms, that would have been great for everybody in the black community and in the community, period, because you've got these farmers raising these meats and vegetables. And speaking of that, my dad, he was a gardener. When he retired from his job, he was a gardener, and he gardened and sold the best vegetables in town. Everybody was able to afford his vegetables because he had all the means and necessaries to do that. And if we would have had more people of color learning that field to learn how to be a farmer. He come out of Arkansas, he was a hog farmer. His dad was a hog farmer. And him and a couple other gentlemen here in town, they had cattle on the hill over in Northwest Portland at one time when the black people were in the northwest part of town.
Yeah, my grandmother was in the Northwest.
Right.
My family grew up
Right.
over there.
And that's a big thing, and we really need that now for the future generations, so we can know where our product is coming from. What is it eating?
Right.
So we won't be consumed with all this different cancer that's coming into the neighborhoods. And it makes a big part. And that's why a lot of people are sick right now today, because the ground is poisoned. When the ground is poisoned, the animal eats the ground and they eat the poison.
All those pesticides and chemicals that they're putting in the grass, and
that is so true.
Right.
And we've got to understand that. And once we figure that out and understand that we got to be the voice for ourselves, for our communities, and for people who can afford it, and we got to make it affordable.
Right.
Because when it's natural, it should be affordable because it's natural.
Exactly.
You're not going to the store to get something to make it grow faster. Just you feed it the natural stuff.
As your business has evolved over the years and changed the that you've faced over the years?
The major challenge is always finance and the right location and the right product. And right here where I am now, here in this location, I have what I need with the parking, and I'm on a four-way intersection. I never advertised. Word of mouth has been my advertising piece, because word of mouth makes you or breaks you. And I always like to do the right thing, because I live in the community and I'm born and raised here. You want to do the right thing, because I want it to go on, because my dad and my brothers before me and my sisters also have put a good name out there, and you want to keep a good name for the future. And the challenge is that the support of our people, understanding that I can't compete with Fred Meyer's or Safeway or New Seasons, because them are big corporations with plenty of money behind them. I'm just a little mom and pop guy who got to pitch pennies and make sure I put the pennies and the nickels and the dollars in the right direction, so I can pay the lights. I can have plenty of product to buy the product that I need, because it's a seasonal thing also. There's a seasonal thing. Right now we're in the roast and the oxtail seasoning. And once we get out of the roast and oxtail season, we're coming along with the barbecue season, the spring weather. So the seasons change.
So the demand.
The demand change. Exactly.
Right, definitely.
Exactly.
So while we're talking about the demand, there was recently a demand of chitlins over the holiday season. I seen it on Facebook. Everybody was looking for chitlins, and people were really disappointed because they couldn't find them anywhere. What's going on with that?
One of the reasons is there's no chitlins available. The plants don't have enough manpower to produce. And when they don't have enough manpower to put it out here on the market, they throw product away, and they can't service the people. So you have chitlins, which is a big thing for our culture. And
not everybody eats chitlins, but there is still a huge population of black people that eat, and it's really a traditional thing around the holidays.
It is, and then a lot of people do, because you have the Latinos.
Right.
They eat a lot of chitlins.
No, Asians do too.
The Asians eat a lot of chitlins, and if you eat pork rinds, you're eating chitlins also, because they take them and they deep fry them. And that's a chitlin also.
I never knew that. This is my first time ever hearing that. I never knew that.
That is a chitlin also.
Wow.
So.
Okay. And how has that changed your, with there being a shortage because of the, like you said, because of the workers, I'm sure probably due to COVID, right?
Due to COVID, exactly right, because they haven't made enough money to go back into the plants, because you got some of these plants are making the high dollars, but they're paying their wages, minimum wages, and people are afraid to go back to the plants to process, because they lost family members or somebody has been affected, and a lot of people's been affected, and we're still being affected to the COVID right now.
And how has that changed your profit margin, as far as how your business has been able to keep up right now?
Well, it's put a big cut on the pocketbook, because you plan to have a product because it's a seasonal thing, and you have a 70-80% increase for this product during the holidays, because that's when people want it. And so we've had to look at a different way and figure out something else to sell the people, a pig feet or a neck bone or some type of pork roast that they can settle in, and maybe a hog maw. They can change their menu, but when you want to put something on the menu, you're looking for that item on the menu. just like right now, chicken wings are being shorted. They've been affected, and the prices are sky high, and they're gonna go higher because you got the Super Bowl coming up here in a few weeks, and that's the biggest chicken wing day in the history of America.
Really? So
Yes.
we can expect like so do the prices actually go up around that time too?
Oh, definitely. The prices go up, and they usually stay up. And then with the shortage of workers, it increases, and it doesn't go back down unless they get enough workers, and then they have plenty of chickens on hand.
You guys hear that? You better stock up on your chicken wings now at an affordable price. So another question I wanted to ask you is, how has the support been from the Black community? I know with everybody being so spread out now, you're probably not seeing as many Black folks coming in and purchasing meat, and maybe you are, so I'll let you tell us that, but how has the support been? Are people still coming from the outskirts to come here to purchase meat, or has it changed?
Well, to be honest, when we had our grand opening, we had great support because it was in the summer. It was a nice time of the year, and we didn't have COVID. At that time, we had great support, and when the COVID hit, the support went down because people are scared to travel, and they're shopping closer to home, and I understand that when they can't afford my product because we have a natural product, which I was saying earlier, and they have to go with the hormones in the chemical product, which is less cheaper to feed their family. And I get it. I understand that. But, for a great product, you have to pay a little bit more because health is wealth in these days, and we're all trying to stay healthy.
Right.
So, and I try to stay healthy. I want my family healthy, and I want each and everybody to come into place of business and have a healthy experience. But I want you to be able to feed your family too, and I know that, hey, sometimes you take shortcuts, but you don't shortcut on health.
Exactly, and it's worth it to spend a little bit more if you know that you're getting a good product and something that's not going to make you sick down the road. Now, have you when you were getting beef in the past, have you ever actually seen meat that had cancer in it that you had to cut out?
Oh yes.
Are they?
Oh yes.
Okay. So it's not just a rumor. This is actually happening. They are putting out meat out there. A lot of other grocery stores and meat markets that have that in it still.
Oh, definitely. You can see it, and you can identify with it that it's a cancer. And one good thing about this business too, when I started down in North Portland and Denver, I used to buy product from Oregon Natural Meats. Oregon Natural Meats was located in Eugene, Oregon. And Stephen Neal, him and his family, they ran the farm out there for years, and they recently shut it down when I came to this location because the sons were graduating from the University of Oregon and they didn't want to continue. And I really miss them guys to this day because they were real knowledgeable for the community and for what they did and represent.
And there's none of their kids wanted to be their successor as far as getting in the business and carrying on the farming?
No, they didn't want to carry on. When I find out when families are in it for a long time, they don't want to carry on because it takes a special person like myself to want to do this. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I chose to do. I don't expect my son to come in and say, well, this is his calling. It's just like a preacher's kid. They don't want to preach because dad's been in it a long time. But I've done my time. I've been in it a long time. We say 35 years or more, and it's been more because, like I say, I started really at 8 years old, but I'm 66 now, and I really knew what I was doing back in the 70s when I took over these other markets and took them to Rand. But we've got this here business. We're not going to be around forever, and this might be my last year over here at Casons Fine Meat on Northeast Alberta. It's a good experience. It's been a good ride.
Well, we're going to be really sad to see you go. With you, with you closing the business, it really takes away from our community, and I really want people to know that and hear that. There are no other Mr. Casons or no other black-owned meat markets, so we really need to be doing what we can to give Mr. Cason's last run a good one and come out and make sure we're supporting its business. Anytime we're planning those big family dinners and we need our chuck roast, we need our oxtails, our neck bones, we need to be coming here to see Mr. Cason. He does have quality meats, it's natural, and again, as he said, wealth is health. I mean, health is wealth. So we need to make sure that we are putting good things into our bodies. Now, Mr. Cason, again, we're really sad to see you go. Who is somebody else going to be kind of stepping up? Are you going to be helping? Are there anybody else that wants to step up to kind of learn the trade? Because I do know that cutting meat is an art. Not everybody can cut meat,
and it's not easy, to run a meat market. Our business is the hardest business to run because if we don't sell it, we smell it. And it's already dead.
Has an expiration date.
It has an expiration date, just like us. You can sit coffee on the shelf. You can sit liquor on the shelf. It lasts a long time. You can sit nuts and stuff on the shelf, and you can bottle up water and soda. That lasts a long time. But this here, we've got to move it. Right. We've got 7 days to move our product,
So that's it. It's 7 days, and then it has to be out of here. And that's why you see so many grocery stores throwing out meat into the dumpster.
That's right, throwing out meat and donating it to some of these different charities because they can write it off. And there's an art to that because you say, well, how much do you order? Are you over ordering? Are you over buying? Well, you after being in it for a long time, things are seasonal, and when the hole is just like a card game. If you're playing 21, you're going to hold on to that 21 until it's your turn. You slap it down on the table, right? And you discard it, and so you learn along the way, and sometimes it's by trial and error.
Right.
But with a little man, we can't make too many mistakes because, like I say, I don't have big business backing me. I'm the lone star right here. Hey, grandma ain't here. I can't go to grandma. I can't go to mama and uncle and say, hey, I need a loan to hold me over to make it. So when the eggs are hatching and they're grown up to hatch, I can put them in the bank for a rainy day and pull them out when I need it. So. We've got to work this thing out. We've got to figure it out. We've got to people that are going to start business, these food carts or anything. What you do, you got to learn it. Right. You just can't jump out there and say, I got an ideal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Got to learn how to take care of this meat because a lot of food carts aren't doing that. They're not throwing their meat out after 7 days. They're keeping it in that freezer, serving it up frostbitten, and you can taste the difference between fresh meat and what's been sitting for a while. But like you said, they over purchase sometimes.
Yeah.
And if they don't do the numbers that they do, they're not, and I would hope that they would be, conscious of what they're serving the community, but people get in desperate and tight spots sometimes. So
it's exactly because, I've worked in some places and I told them, hey, well, we can't put this out there. And some of them told me no, put it out there. And some of them said, well, throw it away. You let your first loss be your best loss. Right. If you got questions about serving something, don't sell it.
Right.
And that's one of my main things.
And as a consumer, what are things that I can watch out for if I'm going to be getting all my meats here, but if I had to purchase meats at another place, what's something that I can watch out for? Because the date on the meat may say something else. How can I visually or be able to, tell by my senses if it's good meat or not?
Well, a lot of the stuff, if it's starting to get green,
right.
If you got something that's sticky, you don't want it. The discoloration of that, And like you said, you smell something and don't smell right. That's the number one tell. And you look and you see, hey, is it a clean place? And I try to keep my place clean. That's number one, because stuff you can't see it. It's just like this virus. Right. We can't see this virus, but we're fighting it. But I'm fighting every day against the virus because I'm bleaching it down 2 or 3 times a day. I wear gloves. I wash my hands properly, and I have everybody else to do that. We clean the front door. We clean the glasses after every sip. We wash our scales down.
And I will have to say that your cases are some of the cleanest cases that I've seen in any meat markets. I've been to a few in the past, and I've seen flies flying through some of their meat markets. I'm not gonna name the place, but I have seen flies in the casing, or just where it looked like food has been set out in the casing for way too long. Anytime I've came here, everything always looks really clean. It always smells nice and fresh. I always see your employees cleaning, and it just, I feel confident when I'm coming here, and I know that I'm gonna get something, that I'm getting good meat, and I don't have to worry about getting sick or catching something from the...
And I thank you for saying that, and I tell each and every employee that works for me, and anybody that's coming in, look, when my mom was living, she would always want me to bring her something, and I told her, Mom, I won't bring it today from this store because it's not up to code. Wait till tomorrow I get over here. And I tell them, hey, let's keep it clean, because when you're feeding your family and your community, I care about family and community because I live here, and I don't want my next door neighbor knocking on my door saying, well, I bought this from your shop. Right. And it's not right. And I don't put out nothing that's bad. If it's not right, I'm not gonna put it in this case, because that's the way I am. And it's not about the dollar. It's about community.
And standing behind your product and taking pride in it.
Exactly. And where you live, money don't make me, I make the money.
Right.
And, and I didn't bring nothing in, and I'm not gonna take nothing out. It's about serving the people and repeating and having good relationships with your neighbors, with your community, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And I've been a long time, and I don't want my work to go in vain. I don't want my community to go in vain, and the ones that's coming in, I want you to understand, hey, that we've been here. And if you don't know about something, get a little education about it. Right. Ask somebody that knows, and they say, ask your doctor. We're scared to get this Visine. Ask your doctor, ask your pharmacist. Well, is it safe? What should I do? What should I look for? How do you cook it? Right. And it's everything with life, it's your life and it's my life.
And if there's some business advice that you would give my generation and also her generation, and before I even go there, is there anything, Letitia, any questions that you'd like to have or that you'd like to ask?
Yeah. I'm curious to know, how has owning a business over all these years had an impact on you and your family?
Well,
good question.
I'm gonna take good question. I'm gonna tell you something, and that's one of the reasons why I say this is probably my last go around, and it'll probably be this year if it's possible, because I've put in so much time, Tanisha, every weekend. Now I go to church on Sundays. I'm only closed on Sundays. I've been away from my wife so much, I don't know who she is sometimes. And we've got to get to know each other more, because I've dedicated my life to business, and that takes a lot when, hey, other people's family, they come in, their families coming in getting stuff for the barbecue, and they got Saturday, they're headed to the beach. Saturday, Sunday, got the weekend, and I was able to take my grandkids to the movies yesterday. I had the whole theater by myself, our family, and that means a lot with these kids. 12, 7, 5, and 3. I don't get to spend that quality time, but I enjoy that, and that's what I'm looking forward to, because you spend so much time away from family, and people don't respect that. They come to the door and they expect me to be here every day, and I've been serving the community a long time, and I want to spend that time now, like I say, with my family. I want to be able to be the one to say, well, nope, we're going to the beach, we're going here, we're going there, because life is short, and that's the rewards that I want to go before they stretch me out in that big old box. You know, that good quality time here on earth, I want to smell my roses, and people don't understand that. Sometimes they forget, well, hey, he's making all this money. It's not all about money. It's providing a service. I'm good at what I do, and other people are good at what they do in the hairdressing business, in the car wash business, or whatever they provide their service to. But you need to understand, hey, you got to have some family time. You got to have some godly time.
Yeah, work-life balance.
We got to have work-life balance. Last Sunday, first Sunday I was in church. I didn't go to church yesterday, which was the second Sunday. But next Sunday, hey, the good Lord said the same. I'll be there. I'll give God his time, give him his rewards, because he's given me mine. And all of that balances out and equal. But in the same time, you got to eat. Your family's got to eat. And so I set my hours now. Hopefully you can come and get a good piece of meat on Saturday, and I can have Sunday. And then I can have Monday too. But we used to do Mondays, and I just decided to do that because, hey, we're the only ones open again. And like I said, this is my last go around. You know I'm getting closer to, I'm not a young man no more. The hands don't work like they used to. The body don't work like they used to. But I enjoy doing what I'm doing for my community, for my neighborhood. And I've been all over, like I said, when I was going from Fred Myers to Fred Myers to Fred Myers, serving my communities. One day I'd be out in Sandy, next day I'd be out in Beaverton, next day I'd be in Longview, Washington, so the next day I'd be in the Dalles. So, I've learned the business. I can teach the business to those who want to go on and to be in the business. I can break the beef from the whole hanging beef, and there's a trade. There's stuff that comes with that. There's stuff that, hey, I want us to leave here and plant in different generations' lives. I've got a lot of young men I've trained into different things, and a lot of them come back and they tell me, Mr. Cason, you remember when me and your son, we be fixing lunch in there before we go to school in one of my meat markets somewhere? And that makes me feel good, because I've touched so many lives, and I want to be able to continue to touch lives.
With the decline of black businesses now, and it being less and less businesses, especially in this neighborhood that we're in now, what advice would you give our generation to keep, to be able to sustain black businesses? What advice would you give us to keep going?
I would say, look at the need. What do we need? Where did we go wrong? Let's bring it back together.
Where do you think we went wrong?
I think we went together because we seen the money aspect. Well, I'm not going to support him because he may make 50 cents more than me, and that's not it. It's not about that. It's about the foundations. It's about us coming in together. We used to, like I said, we had these mega churches, and we had everything in there we needed. But we didn't have our daycares. The church didn't take and put a daycare. They didn't put a old folks home next door. They didn't take the carpenters and say, we got all these carpenters here. We're going to start our own carpenter union. And we had all the best cooks in the kitchen. We didn't utilize that and say, hey, we're going to take these sisters and start teaching.
They can have restaurants.
So they can have restaurants and different buildings and different businesses. So we've got to come together now with the ones that's trying to do the food carts. We've got to work together. It's about togetherness. Unifying together. Take your dollars, put them together, buy together. Buy what you can afford and sell it at your price where you can make your money. Repeat it, do that. Stay together, work together, buy your property, build your property up so you can have your businesses underneath, your housing, your community centers, whatever you need to sustain. That's what we got to do. We got to come together and realize, hey, it's not about me, myself, and I, because it's a bigger picture than that. Here we are, the football team, we're trying to get to this game, but we're going separate directions. Well, let's get on this bus and let's ride this bus out so we can get there all at the same time. And hey, we can win. If we can't win, let's at least put up a good fight. And seeing that, everybody that's watching and listening and looking, I told you about them Las Vegas Raiders. Watch out for my Raiders. Here we are. We done been through adversity. We've had a coach. We've had to get rid of the coach. He didn't make the team. He was part of it. But he got a little beside himself. And stuff came out. But the players make the team. The other coaches make the team. We fought hard last night. We fought hard these last few games. We took it on in. We made the championship. We killed a couple people. And we ran over somebody. And stuff happens. That's life. But working together works. When you divide it, it don't work. Families come together. Quit worrying about, well, mama left me this, daddy left me this. Work together so we can work and pass it on.
Exactly. I thank you so much, Mr. Cason, for your time. It's been an honor talking with you. Letitia, is there anything else that you wanted to talk to Mr. Cason about or ask him?
I don't think so. It's been really great hearing or listening to you talk and learning about your business.
Thank you, and that's why I came today to talk to you, Mr. Cason. There's a bunch of new businesses and younger people getting started, and that may have something to contribute to the community. But my thing is, it's essential for people of my generation and Letitia's generation to reach back and to talk to our elders. Your business has been around for 20 plus years. Those are the businesses that I want to talk to and learn from. You people that have had a chance to see the changes within the community, to see what's been working and what hasn't. So I really appreciate you taking the time with us to give us your knowledge, to give us your great advice, and just to even, to share that love with us for your community. And we really hope that you'll stick around longer. We're going to miss you when you're gone, and we will be here to support. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for everything that you do for us in Portland.
Well, I thank you for having me and taking the time out and seeing that I was worthy of being having for.
Yes, you're very worthy. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, thank you guys for joining us today at the Black Estate, Our Interest, Our Voice podcast. I hope you guys learned something. Make sure you guys come out here and check out Mr. Cason. Stop by and say hi. He's a wonderful man, has a lot of knowledge to offer. Come by and get his meats. He has some great selections in here. Make this one of your must-go-tos when you are grocery shopping. I don't care how long you have to drive to get here. Make sure this is a place that you stop by to support Mr. Cason, because we don't know how long he's going to be here, and so let's give him his roses while he's here. Thank you, Mr. Cason.
Thank you.
Yes.
So join Tanisha, the real estate diva, licensed broker, and CEO of the Black Estate Mag at the Black Estate. Our interest, our voice podcast for some real conversation.